Okay, it's your first time in Japan or in Sapporo, maybe even out of your own country. Stepped off the plane, you're greeted by the really chilly wind and weather. Maybe even you're a little bit overstimulated or overwhelmed. You gotta go get your loot from the baggage claim. You can't just set a Pathfinder zipline to your destination or throw a Loba tactical, but it's okay, I got you. Grab some popcorn, get some coffee, get a drink. Because my friends, I am about to give you your all-in-one guide on traveling to ALGS in beautiful Sapporo, which is in the northern province Hokkaido of Japan. Now, just in case you missed it, just in case you have been living under a rock, it was recently announced that ALGS have signed a partnership with Sapporo's government to host the Year 5 and Year 6 championship for the esport at the Daiwa House Premise Dome. Now this is great, in my opinion, at least. I think it secures the longevity of the esport in the coming years. I know that there has been a lot of uncertainty or controversies recently, especially with the whole mid-season playoffs EWC thing, but we won't go into any of that. That's not what this video is about. That is another can of worms. I'm just happy to see the esport thriving and excited that we get to go back to Sapporo and hopefully more people can experience it this time. But anyways, before we get into all of that, who is this bitch? Why is she yapping? Why should I listen to her advice? I'm Misery. I'm from Australia. I'm a VTuber and a streamer. I mainly play Apex. I have had the privilege to touch grass more than a lot of gamers, I would say. I got to attend Split 1 playoffs in LA last year, which was really cool. It was my first experience at Apex LAN, because there's never any near Australia. So yeah, that was really cool. Usually I travel around the world for concerts and shit because I can't help myself. But I also had the privilege of going to Japan for the first time and going to Sapporo for champs earlier this year. I'll be splitting this video into a few parts as well, whether you want the whole kit and caboodle or just advice on a specific thing. We'll cover sort of what to expect when you first arrive in Sapporo. We'll go through accommodation, and then we'll go through sort of tips for traveling within Sapporo when you're there for the event, and then we'll dive into some more general tips and advice. I'll leave timestamps below in the description if you need a specific sort of thing, or if you want to stick around to get all the information. Now also please take this advice with a grain of salt. At the end of the day, I'm not a local to Japan. I'm just a fellow ALGS enjoyer and traveler, but hopefully the perspective from a first-time traveler for champs in Sapporo, this video resonates and helps other people who were maybe in the same boat as me earlier this year, or maybe will be in the same boat coming up to Year 5 and Year 6 championships. Let's get into it. Part 1. Your first arrival in Sapporo. As I was saying at the start of the video, no, you unfortunately can't arrive off the plane, you set a Pathfinder zipline or portal or whatever. So this part is going to cover sort of what to expect, what to do once you first arrive. Now, if it was up to me, I would say go to Lawson and get the packaged pancakes or pastries as a snack. I'm going to cover sort of mainly what it is like navigating from New Chitose Airport into Sapporo City. I believe you can get a bullet train, and then it goes either underwater, in a tunnel, or there's a ferry. I probably wouldn't recommend that, especially if it's your first time maybe going to Japan. So yeah, I would probably recommend flying. Sapporo does have 2 airports, but most flights and a lot of international ones go into New Chitose Airport. So it is most likely that you're going to fly into there. So let's say that you do fly into New Chitose Airport. You've got your loot from the baggage claim. You've met up with your friends. If you do have any friends coming, I would probably recommend, if you are traveling in a group or with friends, try line up your flights together. Like, try get on the same flights or arrive at the same time, because it will definitely make you feel more confident navigating and stuff. New Chitose Airport is further away from Sapporo City than the other airport, but that is absolutely okay. No need to worry. There is a train that you can take directly from like the airport terminal through to Sapporo City. To memory, it's about 2,000 yen, and the train takes about 30 minutes. But yeah, you literally like cannot miss the signs. There will be a lot of signs from that like baggage claim like exit area. Also, this is another like hot bit of advice for the train. So try not to confuse Shin Sapporo Station for Sapporo Station. Essentially, if you get off at Shin Sapporo Station instead of Sapporo, you will be further out of the city. But I would just double check where your accommodation is and what train station is closer to where you'll be staying. There is also an airport bus slash shuttle system that you can take as well, which has more stops. But like, as a first-time traveler and someone who doesn't really like speak Japanese and stuff, I probably wouldn't recommend that, because the system can be a lot more confusing. But if you're confident, if you're maybe staying at an Airbnb or a hotel that is directly along the airport like bus system, maybe that would be a better option for you. I think it might be a little bit cheaper than the train as well. I will dive into this in a little more depth later in the video, but yes, Sapporo also has taxis and Ubers. However, if you did get one from the airport into like the city and your accommodation, you could be looking at like 10,000 yen. If you're sort of trying to be more budget friendly, I would, yeah, definitely recommend just taking the train. I'm sure most people will be staying around Sapporo City anyway. And let's say like you don't want to like walk from the train station to your accommodation with your bags, you can then like get an Uber or taxi from one of those stations to your accommodation, and that will at least make it a lot cheaper than if you were to just straight up Uber or taxi from the airport. Another thing as well that I highly recommend, so you're gonna travel into Sapporo Station, or you know, one of those stations, to then get to your accommodation. There are like a lot of train lines in Sapporo, and you can connect to pretty much all of them from Sapporo Station. So let's say you have to like swap over to the blue Toho line, which later on in the video will also be the line that you take to get to the ALGS venue. Check what your closest transport options are to your hotel, so you can weigh up if you then like transfer to a different line, go to a train station near your hotel, and then like walk or Uber slash taxi from there. You've at least got a lot of options. You can choose what works best for you. I totally understand carrying around like heavy baggage in snow and the cold is not convenient. Be sure to check your like check-in time with your accommodation as well. You can, for like pretty cheap, maybe even 1,000 yen, depending on the place, you can like put your luggage in lockers around the station, or like even at shops. Your hotel might even offer one of those services until you can then like check into your room. Alright, now you've gotten out of the airport, you've gotten your transport into Sapporo City, you're on your way to your accommodation. But wait, where should you get accommodation? Where is the best place where you can get to the venue for ALGS, and then also maybe to do like touristy cool stuff in the city. If you're dropping as a solo, duo, trio, bigger group, I know there's not going to be a one size fits all approach. So hopefully in this section, I can at least give you some advice. Now, for my people wanting to get a hotel, I would highly recommend booking one of the many hotels in the area near Odori Park or Susukino Station. But remember, the train system in Japan is really good. So it doesn't really matter what station you may stay near, they're all like connected. So staying on like a different line would just mean that your journey to the venue might take a little bit longer because you've got to go like change over at another station to get on the line that you need to go to. Personally, for both lands that I've been to, I tend to just get a group of friends and we split a Airbnb. This makes the accommodation cost overall cheaper for everyone, but yeah, this option is only really feasible if like you have a friend group that you plan to travel with. It can also like cut down transport costs if you do decide to get like taxis and Ubers around the city and to the venue as well. For this LAN, we ended up staying in a really cute Airbnb in the suburbs of Sapporo. I think it was about 4 kilometers from the ALGS venue. But anyway, consult with your duo or trio, whatever friend group you're going with. You know, do your research, find out what is the best option that works with you and your itinerary. But yeah, if you can take anything away from this, if you are wanting to be in all the action at the city, but also like a quick way to get to the venue, I definitely recommend anything along the Blue Toho line, anything closest to Susukino Station. Odori Park is a really good area because it's near that line. It's near a lot of like touristy stuff.
Let's go for a ride.
Okay, so perfect. You've made it to your hotel. You've maybe got a little bit experience navigating Sapporo's public transport system now. You're settled in, the heater is on, you've got your 7-Eleven, Lawson's or Family Mart snacks. But now the question is, how do I get to LAN? Like, that's where all the fun's at. That's why I'm here. You can't set an altar portal at your hotel and at the premise dome. Unfortunately, you can't do that, gamers, but it's okay. I got you. Now, this section is for transport to and from the venue. I highly recommend the train. Yeah, it's probably going to be crowded, especially on the weekend days of LAN. You'll be rewarded when you finally get onto the train and the seats are like heated and your butt is nice and warm. And they might do the activation at the train stations again where they have all the ALGS and player stuff. Also getting... Bro, I'm trying to record. I got so distracted by the cat, so sorry if I'm repeating myself. Fukuzumi? Is it Fukuzumi? Just to go into more depth about this, there is a station called Fukuzumi, which is on the Blue Toho line. That is your closest train station to the venue. It's only about a 650-meter walk. You will have to do this walk through the snow. For the most part, it is all like along a sidewalk, path, bridge. I believe there's some restaurants and a McDonald's like between the train station and the venue, but this train will take you like straight back into Sapporo City. I think it's also good to mention to get a Suica card and all of that before you travel as well, because that is what you're going to be using to like touch on and off the trains. You can also use these at like convenience stores and stuff, so definitely recommend getting one of these and like preloading it or just loading up as much yen you need on it. Otherwise you have to go to like the ticket machines and then get these like paper tickets that you put through the thing, then they like pop out the other side. A lot of these machines I noticed in Japan were cash only, so make sure you always have But yeah, make sure you also have cash on you as well. It's always good to like have a few different ways to potentially pay for things so you don't end up getting caught out. But just keep in mind that because it is a busy and like peak event, that Ubers and taxis and stuff directly from the venue, or at least in that area, are going to be harder to find and more expensive. Like you might have to wait a little bit longer to be paired with a rider because like it's not as popular as Western countries. The public transport system and trains are much more popular and efficient and cheaper. Also, I do highly recommend installing the app Go Taxi and then Uber if you don't already have it. Make sure you also set this up before you travel because you might have to like verify a phone number. So at least make sure the account is like set up, everything's verified, whatever, before you travel, just so you don't get caught out in the case where you like actually need an Uber or taxi. I hope everything I've at least spoken about so far makes sense. If you need like more advice or like more specific tips, feel free to put them in the comment section. Come stop by a stream and come yap. If you also have advice and tips for people as well, feel free to put those in the comments. But now, completely unscripted, what I'm gonna try cover in this last section is what to expect weather-wise, what you should pack, or at least like my recommendations, some general advice for traveling, just some like general tips around ALGS as well. Damn! He dropped this on the ground and water is going everywhere. Okay, so it will be winter in the northern hemisphere. Hokkaido is known for some of the heaviest snowfall in the world, so definitely be prepared.
Get comfortable being fucking uncomfortable.
For cold weather. Do you remember the heating systems inside is like really good? So what I would recommend, definitely have an underlayer of thermals just to keep like your body heat in. It will get hot inside the venue. It will probably get hot and you'll have to take layers off when you're indoors, but you definitely want to keep warm when you're outside, when you're walking, exploring, whatever. Girlies, get some like thermal stockings. I hate wearing pants, so I personally just get like skin colored thermals. But yeah, like thermals, normal clothes, like whatever the fuck you want to wear, then like an outer layer, like a coat, windbreaker, whatever. Some parts of the venue will be colder than others, but from the body heat of everyone being in the arena, it will start to get really hot as well. So just make sure you can layer down as well. You also don't want to be too hot then too cold, because I feel like that is how a lot of people get sick as well. Also, like, please don't wear like fucking thongs. That's Australian for flip-flops, or like Crocs, thin material sneakers, because trust me, your feet will get cold and probably wet. The snow can be really thick, almost slushy like, and you definitely don't want your feet to get wet. Now personally, I'm a psychopath and I tend to wear shoes like this or this. Now the reason for this is because I am very short. Like sometimes the snow in Sapporo was like basically almost up to my knees, so that's why I wear those. Luckily I had no incidents. A lot of my friends ended up slipping as well, and they were just in like durable sneakers. So unless you maybe have a lot of experience walking with boots like that, maybe get something a little less tripping prone. But look, I'm a psycho. I like go to concerts all the time, in mosh pits, two-stepping, like running between stages at festivals, like all in shoes like that, so I'm used to it. Wear shoes that are gonna work for you. You're not gonna like slip and hurt yourself in snow, but it's also gonna be durable enough where you're not like getting wet or your shoes are getting destroyed from the snow. Just for some other like general travel tips, I would probably recommend, if you're not that fluent in Japanese, having like a translator app that you can maybe use offline, or if you don't have phone or Wi-Fi reception, That can be really helpful with translating menus, or, you know, let's say if a taxi driver or something needs to communicate with you. I think it's also potentially good to learn some basic Japanese terms just to help get you by, and it's also polite. Sumaisen, which is excuse me, like all the ways to say thank you, which essentially start with arigato, arigato gozaimasu. Okay, now we've got all the general travel tips and advice out of the way. Now lastly, specific sort of advice for ALGS. You know, like what can you expect? What are some good tips to make sure you have like the most fun time possible? Now this does not really affect people like myself or players, like people who will have the privilege to at least have like a media pass or team guest pass. But I know obviously like not everyone has that privilege. So like what can you expect if you are just a general patron? The lines for like the public entrances, especially on the Saturday and Sunday of the event, were huge. Like from rumors I heard, people were lining up from like super early in the morning to like get the best seats. But also keep in mind like media and team guest people, etc., we get early access to the venue, so we will unfortunately probably steal like some seats up the front. But just expect like you might be waiting outside in the snow and the cold for up to hours to get into the venue. So just be prepared for this. Like have water, go to the bathroom before you line up. Please make sure you have warm clothes on. I also recommend like hot hands or just a warm drink, like just something to keep yourself warm, because I'm sorry but you might be out there for a while unless you want to like line up early. But still, you're gonna have to wait for the doors to open. You're still gonna be lining up in the cold for a while. And I do believe VIP tickets got like a separate entrance or line as well. So, you know, if you're not wanting to wait outside in queues, maybe it's an option to pay a little bit extra and get like the VIP pass thing. What should you like have in your bag for the day? Gamers, please bring deodorant or perfume. Like, please just pack something like that in your bag. Also, you know, like pack your essentials. Every person's different. I like to like pack my tissues, like hand sanitizer, wipes, most importantly deodorant or perfume, maybe a pair of earphones, like I said, if you need to like block the crowd noise out or you want to listen to the broadcast in English while you're watching it. Also, if you are planning to use devices a lot, make sure you potentially bring like a portable charger and cords as well. Also, I do want to say, if any of you do ever see me at a LAN, I do have some Nessie like merch stickers. Feel free to come grab one of those from me. I usually try to bring about 100 packs, so there's plenty to go around. But as far as other advice goes, specifically for ALGS in the actual arena where you spectate like the live audience, that will always be casted in Japanese for these events. Get like a pair of headphones if you want to listen to like the English broadcast, but your reception will probably drop out in the arena, or there might be too much of a delay between the stream and what's happening in front of your eyes. If you do have access to like the player lounge or the media lounge and stuff, there will be TVs in there with the English broadcast. Otherwise, if you don't have any of those passes, outside where all the food and stuff are, there are big screens with the English broadcast. So you at least like have that option as well. I personally liked being outside because the drinks are right in front of you at the stores, and like the English broadcast is there. I know that like big arenas and crowds can get overwhelming, even for someone like me who is, you know, like always at a concert basically when I'm not gaming. Anyway, I'm gonna stop yapping and wrap this video up now. I really do hope anything I may have said in the video has at least helped someone out, whether you're a first-time traveler to ALGS, or, you know, maybe you did go earlier this year and you're just wanting to like learn from mistakes that you made the last time, or get like a different perspective or advice so you can do it again this time, do it better, have more fun. But yeah, I hope this helped. I hope I get to see some of you guys at year 5 and year 6 champs. I also stream on Twitch most days of the week, and I plan to stream on YouTube soon. So if you want to do all those cute things and hit them buttons and come yap with me. Thank you for watching. Oh, ah.